Welcome to a series, He Trains My Hands for War, where we're going through the book of Joshua, verse by verse, because the book of Joshua is by far the best example of what it is to be in the army of God and find victory in that thing. And it's important to study this because there is a real war coming between the antichrist and the world armies, and a multitude of tribes, nations, and tongues, combined with 144,000 Israelites, making up the two witnesses who successfully war against the Antichrist for 3.5 years. And where we are is this place, whereas Joshua has just conquered so many kingdoms that I'm actually not looking forward to reading the list of kingdoms because it's just so many, that I think it's important to kind of go back and talk about what it is that they are actually inheriting in that moment, this land that they are inheriting. So we're just going to pick it up where we left off. Joshua 11, starting verse 23. So Joshua took the whole land according to all that the Lord had said to Moses, and Joshua gave it as an inheritance to Israel according to their divisions by their tribes. Then the land rested from war. Now I'm going to pause there because this is a very significant moment in time. You know, this is a very significant moment in time because what we're witnessing right here is we're witnessing that moment in time that God told Abraham about. Just a few thousand years earlier, God literally told Abraham about this. So we're going to go back to that moment. We're going to go back to Genesis 12, starting verse 1. Now the Lord had said to Abram, "Get out of your country, from your family, and from your father's house, to the land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and I'll curse him who curses you. And in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed." So here what you have is you literally have a couple thousand years earlier, God has this conversation with Abram, essentially saying, hey, get up. Go to this land that I'm going to show you is going to be an inheritance for you because I'm going to make you a nation. That out of you will become this nation that will inherit this land. And now they actually are literally inheriting the land. Now, the other part is he said that through you, the whole world will be blessed. What he's talking about is he's talking about bringing about Jesus Christ to redeem mankind. So ultimately in this moment, for us, we're talking about 4,000-ish years ago, that here you have Abram talking to God, and God saying, get up, go to this land, and I'm going to make you a nation, and this land is going to be your inheritance. So now you go to Joshua's day, a few thousand years later, there it is, being fulfilled. And then you fast forward 1,000 or so years later, and now you have Jesus Christ redeeming mankind. All of this is being fulfilled. All of it. And it's something that you can't just go, oh, that's interesting. No, you have to really take this in for what it is for a moment. It is an inheritance. And something that I talked about in the last video is that this inheritance isn't finished yet. There is promise of another inheritance. There is the inheritance of the earth to reign with Christ for 1,000 years. And now we are walking into that thing. Now we are literally walking into that thing. Just like Joshua walked into that thing. We are now walking into a thing. And do you think it won't be met with hostility and war? Of course it will be. Of course there will be war. Of course there will be war. You know, the revelation of Jesus Christ talks about the warring of the saints a lot. It's one of the most talked about things outside of Jesus Christ in the book of Revelation is this war that takes place, and we prevail successfully for 3.5 years so we can walk into that inheritance just like Joshua did. But they had to war first. They had to take the land first. And that's really kind of where we are, you know? So it's important. You can't just sit there and go, charge. Like, that's not how it works in God's way. Like, God, you got to do it God's way every time, or you will fail almost every time. But if you do it His way, you will prevail 100% of the time. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It's a real war, and it's a real inheritance. It's an inheriting the earth, you know. And something else I said on the last episode that I just kind of want to address here is that, you know, the people who inherit the earth are only those who survived tribulation combined with those who died in tribulation. It's referred to as the first resurrection. When Christ returns, first the dead are raised incorruptible and immortal, but Revelation says that the first resurrection is only those who died in tribulation. Then we are taken up and we are changed, incorruptible and immortal, those of us who are alive and remain when Christ returns. So those are the only two people that inherit the earth. Be very clear. That's it. Just those who died in tribulation and those who survived tribulation. That's it. Like, that is it. The rest of the dead are resurrected after the 1,000 years, and then they go into the New Jerusalem. But the ones who actually inherit the earth, it's only those of us who survived during that time. So it's really incredibly important. You got to figure out how to be a part of this, honestly, if you want to inherit the earth, which I do.